Hey everyone, welcome to my very first video. My name's Arturo Alvarez. I'm a local real estate agent here in Mooresville, North Carolina. Okay everyone, so full disclosure, I'm a brand new real estate agent myself. I've been a real estate agent probably a little over a month now, and that's why I'm doing this video. I just kind of wanted to go over what my experience has been and some of the things that I've had to overcome and some strategies that I've taken to generate more leads and, even the stressors that come with trying to build a business from the ground up, basically. I'm not new to the sales game. I've been in sales prior to this for 8 years almost. And so, real estate, I know you're selling something completely different. And, it does have its differences, but at the end of the day, it still sells. And I think I had a leg up because some of that experience, but, it is different. It is different. So I started out a little slower than I intended because here in North Carolina, you have to complete 90 hours of post-licensing. And it's 3 30-hour courses. And I kept putting it on the back burner. And, if you're a provisional broker here in North Carolina, there are certain things that you can't do. So I didn't want to have that. I mean, they give you 180 days to do those 90 hours, but I didn't want to have that at the back of my head. I didn't want to wait the 180 days. So I just went ahead and I dedicated a couple weeks to it, took it off and on, but buckled down that last week and really knocked it out so I could just put that behind me and focus on building my business. Now for me, building my business is something that I've always wanted to do. And even before I was in the military, since I was a kid, I think, when I was in high school, the thought of being an entrepreneur is something that has always interest me. I was like a kid in a candy store when it came time to really sink my teeth into how I was going to build my business, build my brand. So I've done the open house. I've done social media. I've done the cold calls, FSBOs, expireds, and, I'm even getting to a point where I'm completing my website so I can, have that funnel built up. But the one thing that I really like and enjoy doing, as crazy as it sounds, is door knocking. For one, you get pretty good exercise on beautiful days. You get outside, you get to stretch your legs. You're not behind the computer all day. But you get to meet people. More importantly, you get to put a face with the voice. And I think that that's so important. And, cold calls, that's great. You can sit there and you can hammer out so many calls a day, but really, they're not really seeing you, your facial expressions, and if you're smiling. And I know they tell you, since I've been in sales, everybody always says, smile while you're on the phone. People can see that through the phone, which is true to a certain extent, but it doesn't replace getting in front of a potential lead and talking with them. And a lot of people get uncomfortable when it comes to door knocking. They get butterflies in their stomach. They dread it. They feel like, man, I'm going to go knock on this person's door. They're just minding their own business. They're working from home, or, who knows? It just feels, and I get like that too sometimes. Actually, I feel it happens on occasion. I'm door knocking and I'll come up to a person and they're not having it, and you can tell they're giving you the cold shoulder as soon as they answer the door. But, I leave there thinking, man, now I got to go knock on somebody else's door and bother them. But 9 times out of 10, people answer that door and they're a little cautious at first, but when you kind of throw your pitch out there, you introduce yourself, and you kind of, in those first few minutes, you let them know a little bit about who you are. And you'd be surprised. I've been invited into some homes. I've had individuals bring me around and show me like every part of their house and, telling me that they were interested in listing their property. Or just sit there on the porch and talk to them for 30 minutes sometimes. And, some people would also think, well, 30 minutes, you're wasting your time with that individual. And yeah, that could be the case. But sometimes, that leads to more. When you have a conversation with people, and the initial thought is, right, I want to get this individual to list with me. But automatically or upfront, you realize that they're not listing and they like to talk and they keep you there for 15 minutes, 30 minutes. But as anybody in this industry will tell you, is they always know somebody that's looking for property or interested in selling their property. Or maybe that individual's looking to invest. Yeah, I mean, it's just a different way of thinking about it. And again, I think that if you give it a chance and you go out there with a plan, you'll find that it's fruitful, and in the long run, it'll be a lot more beneficial. Having the individual actually getting to speak with you, see you in person, and really understand what type of agent you are. And, they get really comfortable around you too. So I'm going to go over some of the things that I do when it comes to door knocking and how I plan and prep for that. All right, this is something I learned in the military, and I've applied this in any career that I've done since thereafter. And it's always proven well for me. So what I do is plan for anything that I'm about to take on, right? And so door knocking is no exception. I think that you have to be fully prepared and have a really good, solid plan in place before you go out and you start knocking on doors. You're not just going to some random neighborhood or multiple neighborhoods and knocking on doors. Will that work? Yes. But I think your return is going to be a lot lower if you do it like that. So something that I do is I will spend the better part of the morning planning my day out. And the way I go about that is I look at neighborhoods and target neighborhoods specifically. Is this part of my niche, this neighborhood? So one of the things I do is I'll print out the neighborhood and I write down all the numbers, the address numbers. And the reason why I do that is I want to know what houses I'm looking at when I'm going out there. And with those addresses, I put next to it, is this an expired? Or did they sell the property a year ago? These are all little notes and the work, the due diligence I do prior to going out and knocking on doors. Oh, another one I forgot. Withdrawals. That one's big too. Don't overlook that. I know everybody's always talking about expireds, but withdrawals is a big one. And, there could be a reason why they decided to withdraw that's valid, or it could be that they just got cold feet. So don't overlook that one. Okay, so another thing I do is I prepare some type of marketing material when I go out there. If somebody tries to shoo me off their porch, or they only want to talk for a minute or so, I want to leave a lasting impression. And it's hard to do that if they're shooing you off the porch, or you're only able to get your first, couple lines of your spill out. So that marketing material is pretty important for me. Again, it's not something that I'm doing or putting together that's just very generic, or there's no thought behind it. It's geared towards the neighborhood that I'm actually targeting. And you can do this a couple different ways. There's different softwares that you could use to create some type of marketing material. I use Canva. I think I paid like $60 for the year, so it's not too bad. And honestly, it has done wonders for me for social media and other aspects of social media like Instagram, Facebook. But here's what I use it for. And like I said, this is the marketing material that I use and put together with that. It's got stock photos. That's kind of the generic part, but I put some little verbiage here that kind of engages them and makes them a little bit more curious to want to call me back. And then on the back of the paper here, I put some stats. Again, the stats are very specific to that area. And it's not something that, I just pulled from a random neighborhood. It's for that neighborhood. So some of these stats are like medium sales price, how many showings per listing, how long listings are staying on the market, things that are going to kind of get their gears turning a little bit and thinking about listing with you. Here in North Carolina, where I'm located, we're actually, I'm near a really big lake. So I'm trying to create my own brand, my own niche. And, in doing that, one of the things that I'm really targeting, one of the markets I'm targeting is, lakefront property, lake communities. There's really high-end property there, and it's a little harder to market to that area. And that's one of the reasons why I'm going after it, because, at first I was a little intimidated by it, and, said, well, maybe I'll start in a different area where it's more cul-de-sac and, a smaller type neighborhood. But I've always kind of pushed myself to do things that I don't want to do. And in life, that's really helped me out. So I want to continue to do that. And that's what I've done. And another thing that I've used is for marketing is like a little keychain. And since it's in the lake area, I said, my wife, I got to give her the credit because she's the one that said, well, why not get like a floatable keychain? If people own boats out there, I mean, they have to. Everybody's on the lake. They always have their keys with them, and nobody really has a bunch of stuff on a keychain for their boats. So why not get them a floatable keychain? And so that's what I did. Found this company. They weren't too expensive. I think I paid like $75 a pop. I got 300 of them. And, out there when I'm door knocking, I introduce myself and, get my spiel after talking with them for a little bit. I leave them with the keychain. And I think that that's something that's also going to leave a pretty long lasting impression. I still do, my drip campaign, my follow-ups with those individuals. Something like this, right? They're going to have this for a long time. Hopefully, my name and logo there doesn't rub off, but they're going to have this for a long time. This piece of paper here, they're going to probably throw it away as soon as I leave. They're going to look over it. They might keep it on the table for a couple days or so, but it's going to end up in the trash. This right here, that's going to leave the lasting impression. That's going to stay there for a long time. So this is just a supplement, right? I'm still doing, like I said, the drip campaign. I'm still following up with postcards, calling. But again, that's just a supplement you can add to your business. Now, one of the last things I do while I'm out there beating the street is, how am I going to reach out to those individuals who don't answer their door? People will knock and give it a couple seconds, nobody answers, and then they walk off. I want to find some way to show them that I was out there, and maybe, they might reach out to me. And the way I do that is I leave a door hanger. It's pretty simple. You can do this with any of those marketing softwares like I had mentioned before. And the only thing is I had to cut this all out myself. It doesn't take that long. It's just a little bit of a pain, but it doesn't take that long. And then, you can cut some slits here and slide your card, or you could just tape your card right to the door hanger. And nobody's there. You leave that there. So now the question comes down to, have I landed anything from any of these methods that I've been doing, any of these business strategies? And the answer is no, I haven't. I've only been doing this for a couple weeks now. And, I've been in, like I said before, I've been in the sales game for a long time, and I'm patient. And I understand that, things aren't going to turn on at the drop of the dime. You have to put in the work. You have to plant the seeds. You have to water it. You have to tend to it. It could take a couple months, could take 6 months, could take a year before somebody reaches back out, maybe even just in that one neighborhood. But, I go into this, or when I'm door knocking, I go into it with that thought in mind. And so I have a full understanding, and, I know what kind of commitment it takes. And I just keep that at the forefront, because when I'm out there, it's easy for anybody to get discouraged. And especially when you got people who are angry because you're bothering them, or, you knock on a bunch of doors and nobody's home because people are off at work or they're out and about. And so it can get a little discouraging. But I think if you really set the expectation up front, and that, look, I'm out here, I'm out here grinding, and I know that it's going to be hard work, but I know that this is going to pay off. I know that this is going to pay off in the long run. And if you set that expectation up front, you set yourself up for success. And so that's where I'm at. And I've gotten some warm leads out of it. So no, I haven't landed anything, but I've gotten really warm leads and a couple hot leads out of it. Yeah, there was this woman I was walking through, I checked my map, and I look at the number, the street number. I look down at my map, and I notice, oh man, they sold 2 years ago. There's no way that they're going to want to sell this massive house. No way. And for a split second, I was like, I'm going to just on to the next house. But you know what? Something in me said, just go down there, knock on the door. And I did. And first thing out of her mouth was, yeah, I need to sell. I got a lot of things going on right now. In the middle, I actually got somebody coming here to do some repairs. So I'm pretty busy right now, but I'm trying to get the house ready. I'm about a year out is what she told me, but I do want to list. And I told her, well, maybe we can get together and we can talk and just kind of, set a good baseline out of what your house is worth today, and kind of go over some of what you're working on. Maybe see if there's any way that I can make some recommendations or help you out. Get involved in the process as early as possible, because you start to build that connection with them. Let's say she does wait a year, and it does take a year for her to actually feel comfortable to list the property. But in that year's time, you do those follow-ups, you had that initial conversation with her, and you made those recommendations of, a painter or, a repairman or a handyman to come out there and help her out. You're building that rapport with her. And so at the end of the day, she's not going to be thinking about another real estate agent. You're going to be her guy or her gal. So, it just goes to show you that you need to do your homework. Right? I would have never known. I would have walked right by it. And then 2, feel confident. Take a chance, because you never know what something could turn into. The house ended up selling for $2 million 2 years ago, and in this market today, if she does manage to get it fixed up and ready to go before a year out, man, I mean, who knows? Maybe 2.3. But like I said, it just goes to show you that take a chance. All right, like I said, this is my first YouTube video. I'm still figuring this stuff out. I'm still trying to figure out real estate, and along with that, social media. Before real estate, I was never big into social media. I never posted every day. I was a once a month type of guy, and I never even thought twice about ever making a video for YouTube. So y'all are gonna have to tell me how I did. Hopefully I wasn't too bad. I'm sure there's places that I need to clean it up a little bit, but growing pains, right? And I look forward to connecting with y'all and making a ton of videos. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to go over, like open houses have been pretty good for me. And there's a lot of things that I've kind of done differently when I first started, compared to like now doing open houses, and like the marketing material that I've added and just different things like that. Also calling FSBOs and expireds. I want to touch on that, but all of that stuff, they can be like their own video. So we'll save some of that for the future. But throughout, the course of this and me putting out content, I just want it to be a journey, right? And hopefully at the end of the day, some of my experiences help out some of y'all, And, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to be 100% real. If I have bad experiences, I'm going to tell y'all and maybe get some good feedback or some good laughs. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming to my video, and hopefully y'all got something out of this. If you did, leave a comment there below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think.